And of course, in Italy, the crowds show their respect by applauding. So then away we go. Parma attacking the goal to our left. And I think, Joe Jordan, we're in for an exciting game today.
Good afternoon, Pierre. Yes, we'll have two teams that over the past years have been the main forces, along with Milan and Juventus, for the championship. We started with a tackle that I think everyone missed, even the cameraman, but I thought it was an introduction to Stoichkov, who I'm looking forward to. He's not injured, but I think it'll be interesting today how Stoichkov handles the Italian football, because in his previous 5 years in Spain, he's had the reputation of being sent off no fewer than 12 times. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles the defenders here.
Benarivo, the player in trouble for Parma. Playing on the left-hand side, he can of course operate on either flank. Musi at the moment is the right back, with Di Chiara just feeling his way back after injury. Down goes Mancini, but no foul. Stoichkov. It's Melli. Back with Parma now after his spell, of course, with Sampdoria, then Milan. He started the last season with Samp, finished it with Milan.
Yeah, you're talking about Melli there, Peter. Melli, Zola, Stoichkov. It doesn't have to lead you into having an imagination of what can happen with these three players. If the chemistry is right between them, they could be devastating. Parma last year just fell away in the championship race, and they've gone about it in a different way to Sampdoria. They've added mainly experienced players to their team, and Sampdoria really have come in and they've had a wee bit of a revolution. They've got rid of players who are coming to the latter part of their career, and have brought in some younger players. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes in the first game here between the two teams.
Away by Sacchetti for Sampdoria. Rapila wearing 23, one of the newcomers with Parma this season, keeping the likes of Brolin out of the starting lineup. This is Balleri. He came from Padova back in the summer. Out of 3 Padova players signed by Sampdoria. 8 of last team's first team regular squad have gone. Something like £18 million raked in by the summer clear out. So a lot of reshaping for Sampdoria to do this season under their coach Sven-Goran Eriksson. Stoichkov, volatile and controversial character, but of course the European Footballer of the Year. Here's Musi, whose place is now under threat then since the return of Di Chiara, who did feature as a substitute in Europe on Thursday for Parma.
I think it's worth mentioning the young boy that Sampdoria have in their team there that has come from Ajax. I think people remember they've seen the European Cup final last year, or they remember Seedorf. Now, I think people have got to take into account he's only 19, but what responsibility rests on his shoulders coming into a team with a reputation of Sampdoria. And even although people will have a certain degree of understanding, they'll still, regarding the changes that have been made, they'll be looking for their usual place high up in this division.
Yes, he's a class act, Clarence Seedorf, a £3 million signing from Ajax. He was in their team, made his debut at just 16 years of age. But Parma now pressing strongly, with Melli trying to wriggle his way through, and almost a hint of a trip then. Melli certainly thought so, but not a word of sympathy from referee Ceccarini. A really positive run, and that looked a bit dubious, that one.
Very positive. I mean, in Melli's career, his best years have been here. He had a bit of a stutter last year when he left and he went to Milan and then Sampdoria themselves, but that was a very positive run, and I've seen penalties given in the past for that.
Referee Ceccarini, who took charge of the European Champions League game in midweek, which I was lucky enough to cover. Ajax against Real Madrid. Well, straight away here, Benarivo has had to go off and Di Chiara is on. So that's an early setback for Parma, but lucky enough for them, Joe, they've got a player like Di Chiara waiting on in the wings.
Well, he's been a fantastic player, very positive, great for left foot, can get forward, can create chances, gets great crosses in.
This is Di Chiara now, former Italian international, but outmaneuvered here by Karembeu, the man from Nantes in France. Had the chance to have played in the European Cup for Nantes, but he said, I couldn't turn down the opportunity to play in Italy. Free kick here then to Sampdoria. You'll see Karembeu linking up with the front players as often as he can. Sampdoria working hard to encourage him to get forward. This is Maniero who's sent tumbling.
I don't think there'll be any surprise here. Mihailovic, we've seen last week in the highlights how he can hit the ball, and I think he's got the opportunity here to show how hard and how accurate he can be in his free kicks.
He's got a very strong left foot, Mihailovic. Seedorf is there too. It'll be the left foot of Mihailovic, and he certainly bent it. But well over the bar of Luca Bucci. Mihailovic, who has been on loan from Roma. He actually returned there briefly during the summer, but then came back to Sampdoria. Never really hit it off with Roma in his previous spell there. Here's Bucci. Won't really unsettle Parma having lost Benarivo with Di Chiara to replace him. Di Chiara, who was the first of the many internationals from the club, first to win a cap for his country. Seedorf. This is Franceschetti, another of the Padova trio.
In regard to international players in the team, Peter, I think it shows you how far Parma have come in such a short period of time. I think in the international week we had the week before last, I think there was no fewer than 11 or 10 from their squad representing their own countries. You know, from Aspila, who was involved in the England one, to the international players that were representing Italy. They've come a long, long way.
Here's Kripa. Then Stoichkov. Di Chiara to Brambilla. Brambilla, who's come from Reggiano. This is Melli. Again, plenty of adventure being shown by Parma. Manini to the rescue for Sampdoria. Then away by Belleri. Maniero in pursuit, but Apolloni certainly the favourite to reach that one first. Apolloni, who's taken over the captaincy of Parma in the absence of the injured Minotti. Parma with a flat back four now. They've changed their tactics a little for this season. Operating in the past, of course, with three central defenders.
That's interesting, Peter. I think there's a number of teams. I don't know if it's because of success that Milan have had in the past, but there are quite a number of teams in Italian football now in Serie A who are adopting a flat back four. I know that in the case of Parma, they're without Minotti, their natural sweeper. But it'll be interesting to see how they get on and how the players adapt to it.
Well, those defenders were almost stretched then by the run from Karembeu, and Seedorf endeavoured to link up with him. Two players high on technique, Karembeu and Seedorf. A lot of familiar faces, of course, have departed from Sampdoria, including David Platt. David is in the crowd today, incidentally, watching. It's Chiesa who's been caught offside. A lot resting on his shoulders this season in tandem with Maniero up front. Never quite made the breakthrough, but he's still only 20, so he's got plenty of time, Chiesa. Had a couple of spells out on loan. Musi, faced by Sacchetti. And a couple cashed in by Angelo Pagotti, who's the current Italian under-21 goalkeeper. Didn't play in the game at Cremonese last week because he's doing his national service and is with the military team. So Serie came in. But now Pagotto reinstated as the #1, with Zenga not likely to play for some time, involved in a training accident with Salsano. Here's Kripa. Movement up front from Stoichkov. Zola in support too. But this is Seedorf to Karembeu. Really flamboyant player, Karembeu, and he's picked out Maniero. So too, though, had Cannavaro, Parma's new defender from Napoli. I don't know if you see much of him, Joe, but he's an outstanding defender, Cannavaro. Cost £5.5 million. More than Stoichkov. Here's Mancini. Released by Cannavaro.
You're talking about Cannavaro and players like that. You know, I don't think it's any exaggeration. You've got to put the Italians as man markers, some of the best players in the world, and Cannavaro has been that. And it will be interesting if, for example, he has to play in a back four which is flat, and he's asked to play in a different way where he has got to pass men on and receive players, and the communication's got to be right. So it'll be interesting to see how he adapts as well to that.
Here's Maniero. Not quite sure what the referee's given here. I think it confused one or two of the players as well. Looks like an offside flag against Maniero. Here's Brambilla. Now Zola. Lovely skill by Zola, just skipping past the tackle almost nonchalantly then. Terrific stuff from Zola. It was Musi with the cross. Here's Kripa.
Zola showed beautiful skills there, just continuing really where he left off last year, and he had a fantastic season for Parma, and he was instrumental there in setting up the chance for Stoichkov.
Zola, who's got 3 goals already this season, including 2 the other night in Europe. Belleri now. Movement ahead of him from Karembeu. It's Chiesa's little chip. Belleri has kept going. He's a former Parma player, Belleri. Had a spell with him a couple of seasons back. Cannavaro, one of the most highly rated young defenders in the Italian game. Under 21 international, and I would think a non-stop certainty to go on to the senior side. The long throw from Karembeu. Way by Brambilla. Going as far as Belleri. That's Apolloni with the clearance. He's found Stoichkov. So much success in Spain with Barcelona, Stoichkov. And a very popular signing with the Parma fans. Scored on his first Serie A appearance. That stunning free kick in the opening game against Atalanta. Franceschetti. Now Mihailovic. This is Sacchetti and Mancini, the captain. Mancini's cross. I think Maniero is going to be quite a threat in the air. The other former Padova player. Now Musi seems to be out of the reckoning at the moment with the Italian team. Musi, having featured, of course, in the World Cup. Now, the referee has blown for infringement here, right on the edge of the box against Belleri. He's looking most indignant.
Well, they certainly caught him there. I mean, it's just a...
It's a nudge. It's a nudge, isn't it?
Yeah. I think they just caught him there. Normally, you know, you would maybe find the sweeper covering the marker there. The cover really has come from Belleri himself, and he's got his position wrong. He's been caught, and has resulted in giving a free kick in a very, very dangerous area.
All eyes on Gianfranco Zola. The man who has such a high success rate from this kind of range. 19 goals in Serie A last season from Zola. No wonder they're looking very anxious, those Sampdoria defenders. Zola, the number 10. The referee is still not happy. The wall is far enough back. I think he is now. Sampdoria trying to keep their concentration. Stoichkov getting involved here. Not for the first time in his career. Here is Zola. A long wait for nothing to happen.
Yeah, Zola will be disappointed in that. But I mean, Stoichkov is complaining about the distance between the ball and the barrier there, and he had a bit of a case. It looked a little bit close, but big disappointment in the end.
Here's Seedorf. Sacchetti called in possession by Belli, and he's tucked him back. Sacchetti is going to be in trouble for that. Well, no, the referee, I think, has ruled the other way, so...
Well, he's a lucky man, because if he could have got a booking for that, but he must have blown before it.
Kripa to Stoichkov. Seems to have a fairly free role, Stoichkov. Here's Belli. Now Zola. This is Brambilla. Stoichkov. Away by Sacchetti, but only as far as Brambilla. Now Musi on for Melli. Forced out by Franceschetti, but Musi's got his cross in. And flicked wide by Zola. So they've come here, Parma showing plenty of positive ideas. They haven't beaten Sampdoria away from home in Serie A. Very much the danger man in the Parma side, Zola. And seems to be now something of a fixture in the Italian team too. He's played 7 of the last 9 internationals and kept Roberto Baggio out of the team for the last game against Slovenia. Musi. This is Dino Baggio. Musi's cross. Melli almost fashioned a chance for himself with his determination. Mihailovic. Belleri now.
Well, Parma are certainly not inhibited by their past record here, Peter, and been a very positive start from them. And in the first few minutes of the game, they have been the most dangerous. And in the middle of that, there's Zola. Yeah, he's a player, as you mentioned there, he's gained recognition in the international team, and he's shown here that he's a player playing with full of confidence.
Well, they know they've got to step up their away form, Parma. It's really been their Achilles heel in the past few seasons. Oh, almost a mix-up then. Cannavaro, rather, looking round towards his goalkeeper, Bellucci. And clearly there was a breakdown in communication there.
Again, Peter, it's a ball straight down the middle. As you say, communications at the centre of it. But also the fact that both these teams are playing a back four, and this communication and understanding has got to really be sorted out over a period of time. It's not going to happen overnight, because you're asking players to play in a different system. And we know that the Italian players, through their teens right up until they become professionals and play at this level, they've all played in a sweeper system.
Dino Baggio. On from Belli. Baggio again. Scored one of Parma's goals in their 2-1 success over Inter, his former club, last weekend. That after they'd gone a goal down. Zola striking the other goal. 2 finally executed goals they were too. But as I was saying, it is away from home that they've got to improve, Parma. They've averaged only 4 away wins in the last 5 seasons now. Approaching the halfway point in the first half, and this is Zola for Parma. Melli, who's looked very bright and sprightly in this early phase. Very much a hero in the past for Parma before his move to Genoa with Sampdoria. Looking now to re-establish himself with Parma this season. He was top scorer for 3 terms in a row with Parma. That's Brambilla, not on the same wavelength as his teammates there, though. Massimo Brambilla, who returned after a loan spell at Reggiana. He was signed by Parma from 3rd Division Monza. Franceschetti, who's keeping Ferri, the veteran defender, out of the Sampdoria team. Chiesa. Seedorf. Maniero, who's got plenty of strength, but maybe showing too much of it there with Cannavaro. Sampdoria for the moment just down to 10 men with Mihailovic having gone off for some treatment. And the referee has given the free kick here. Mihailovic, I gather, has a knee injury. So here's an opportunity then for Sampdoria. Mancini, as ever, taking charge of the situation. Franceschetti has come out from the back along with Bellucci. And they have the aerial strength of Karembeu in there too. And it's a goal from Karembeu. 21 minutes gone. His second goal, his second headed goal too, for his new club. Underlining there his prowess in the air, and he went in very bravely to flick the ball into the corner.
Well, it's a delightful little chip there from Mancini. I mean, it's a terrible place to give a free kick away. And he's put it in there at the right height, with a great pace. And Karembeu has got in front of his marker. And the most delicate he touches there. He's beat the goalkeeper and he's beat his marker. But I think the first one he's got to congratulate is Mancini for the ball that he's played in for him. The timing of the run is excellent.
He's done extremely well there to get ahead of Dino Baggio. And in before Luca Bucci. He looks a bit like Ruud Gullit, and the great man would have been proud of that one. I don't know if you saw his other goal too earlier in the season, Joe. Well, that was a very powerful header.
Well, it's a great start for him. You know, that'll settle his nerves here, not only in the game, but in his career here in Italy.
Foul on Dino Baggio. Here's the header again. That's great anticipation from Christian Karembeu.
Great anticipation, but Baggio, I don't know if he's been sleeping there, or he's certainly allowed Karembeu to get in front of him. And he and his manager will be disappointed in that. And here we have a similar situation, a little bit further out, but just as dangerous.
I'm not making excuses for Dino Baggio, but he has been suffering from flu all week, incidentally. Now here is Stoichkov. The kind of distance for a free kick that he relishes on that excellent left foot of his. He can really curl them, Stoichkov. And he's whipped that one in, but straight at the wall. Stoichkov again, battling for it now with Seedorf. And the decision goes Sampdoria's way.
Certainly, Stoichkov has picked up the line. He's pretty quick. He said the chat with the referee, and he said the chat with the linesman. So he's well into the language, Peter.
Seedorf. Now Mihailovic, who seems to be okay again. Wide by Seedorf to Karembeu. Karembeu, who hails from Lifu, New Caledonia. Di Chiara to Apolloni. This is Brambilla, who's an industrious player and a good signing by Parma. Another man missing at the moment, incidentally, Fernando Couto, the Portuguese international, who's not fully fit. Here's Zola, who certainly is. Another spirited run by Zola. And Sampdoria had to resort to bringing him down illegally. So another opportunity for Zola.
Well, maybe it'll be third time lucky for Parma. They've had two great positions so far, and this third one's as good as the previous two. And I think Zola will be looking to improve on his first effort. If they can get the 10 yards back, the wee man can certainly do damage from this position.
The panic starts to spread when Zola runs at defenders in that typically jinking fashion. And here he is now then, hovering over the ball. Gianfranco Zola. But he's whipped it wide. .38 goals in 67 Serie A appearances for Parma. Came, of course, from Napoli. Hasn't got his range right yet.
No, I think the gesture that he just showed there sums up his feelings. He is a player he expects at least to hit the target. He's a player that, fun enough, I seen year before last actually practicing. I went across to Parma and I watched him, and he takes a lot of care and attention in his training to his free kicks, and the two that he's hit so far, he'll be disappointed. It's not up to the standard that he's used to.
So you've been studying free kicks from Zola. Hasn't quite rubbed off on Bristol City yet, though, Joe.
Not quite. No, we've got the same habit as him. We keep hitting the wall as well.
Now Mihajlovic lining this one up. It's a long, long run. And he's hit it through firmly enough too. He's such a danger on free kicks, Mihajlovic. Although his record really hasn't been all that impressive in terms of goals scored. Just a handful, really, since he arrived in Italy. Apolloni. Franceschetti waiting for Angelo Picotto to collect. Now Sacchetti seems to be getting in a run for the Sampdoria side this season, having been out of favour for much of the last campaign. Had to wait 6 months for his first opportunity. Here he is now. Chiesa had gone the other way. Apolloni for Parma. Joint second, of course, in Serie A last season. Sampdoria having to settle for 8th place. Parma also runners-up to Juventus in the Italian Cup as well. Apolloni. Now Stoichkov, or rather Kripa, to Di Chiara. This is Stoichkov. Good hustling by the experienced defender Manini. Kripa. On by Apolloni to Brambilla. Wide of him, Dino Baggio. Possession football here from Parma, but they're not creating any damage. Zola might now. Excellent close control. Appeal for handball. Nothing given, though. Sampdoria leading by the goal from Karembeu. Brambilla. Again, Manini was very quick in the tackle. Does read the game so well at the back, Manini. This is Melli. On by Stoichkov. Parma with this ambitious lineup today, 3 up front. In Melli, Zola and Stoichkov. But so far the Sampdoria defence standing firm. Marshalled around Manini.
Yeah, I think Sampdoria, this moment, Pierre, you say defence, I think they're just going to sit in it at the moment and see if they can bring Parma on to them and see if they can catch them on the break.
Mancini, who will be hoping to provide the ammunition for that. Just overhit there in search of Maniero. Fabio Scala, the coach of Parma. hoping his team can go one better this season and win that Scudetto for the very first time.
Well, that's really about the only thing that they've failed to do, and I would say the main reason for that over the last couple of years is they've been their away form. You've touched on it before, and it's no coincidence that it's let them down in the previous years, and they have got to get it sorted out. They've got to show that they've got the character to go away from home to places like here and get a result. But so far, as the way the game has gone, although they're 1-0 down, they're playing a lot of confidence, and they're dominating the game in possession.
Di Chiaro, away from Maniero. But then Bellucci with the interception. That's a foul by Di Chiaro. The first half substitute here for the injured Benarivo. Just caught David Bellucci. Actually, it's Maniero, sorry, who is sent tumbling there.
I don't think that was intentional. I think Di Chiaro had got forward as he does, and the first thing that these players do, these fullbacks, once they've lost possession of the ball, or his teammates lost possession of the ball, is to get back in as quickly as possible and facing the game, and that's what he was trying to do. And unfortunately, he's running into the Sampdoria player.
Maniero, Super Pippo, as he's known. Filippo Maniero, 9 goals for Padova last season. He was their leading scorer. Cost £1 million back in the summer. Long ball from Bellucci, very optimistic though. In the bright sunshine of Genoa, Mihailovic. That's an excellent pass. More danger here, in goes Karembeu. Almost got on the end of it too. That was a grand recovery by Kripa to thwart him in the end. Another surging burst through from Karembeu.
Well, it's a fantastic ball through from Mihailovic, and the cross comes in all honesty, I thought he would have went for his second goal with a header. I think if he had dived it and attacked the ball as he did in the first incident where he got the first goal, I think he would have had a brace.
You'd have dived in there, Joe, wouldn't you, in your heyday?
I would have dived down without a doubt, and try to keep my eyes open and just put it in the corner. It was a great opportunity.
If you were still on the field, that is.
Yes, if I was still on the field.
Actually, just on a more solemn note, when I was saying earlier on there about the sad death of Deseo, you of course knew him from your days in Italy.
Yes, Deseo was a player I played against in Italy, and I remember playing once for Scotland against Deseo, but I become friendly with him in my days at Verona. He just left.
Just break in there to stay with this attack, Bellucci. And a good claim by Luca Bucci.
He just left. As I arrived, he went to Napoli and had a number of years there. In fact, he spent 5 or 6 years in total in Italy, and he was a terrific player, great left foot, quality, what you would expect from a Brazilian. But it's very sad that you get someone in so young a year who dies in an incident like that.
OK, Joe, well, thanks for that tribute to Deseo, who sadly died at the age of 43 in that car accident back in Rio de Janeiro. Kripa. Now Cannavaro. This is Apolloni. One of several players on international duty recently, but he didn't feature in the Italian game, Apolloni, just in the squad. Mancini, who retired, of course, some while ago from the Italian national team. Cannavaro. Now Kripa, who works so hard for Parma. On by Stoichkov. Zola. Now linking with Brambilla. Options inside him with Zola again. Just probing delicately for an opening, Parma. This is Di Chiaro. Away comes Sampdoria on the break. Not for too far. Another foul by Di Chiaro. That's the second that he's committed in the matter of a couple of minutes. And not surprisingly, there's a yellow card for him. from referee Ceccherini. I don't think he'd have too many complaints about that, Joe.
No, I think the referee gave him the benefit of doing it in the first one, but in that one I think it was blatant what he was trying to do. They've lost possession, he's getting back goal side, and yeah, I think the award is correct.
It's very strong, this number 2 here, Bellucci, former Parma player, remember. Out comes Cannavaro in determined fashion, but the danger hasn't passed. Now it has. Brambilla. Good anticipation, though. And up comes Luca Bucci. Off goes Klipper. Zola. Sampdoria with a lead, but Parma with a lot of possession, but they haven't so far turned into too many chances. Stoichkov. Now Klipper.
You're talking about the chances that the start that Parma started with 3 up front, but obviously in the way that you've seen Stoichkov collecting the ball, he's collecting it deep. It's difficult for the Sampdoria players to pick him up, but in all honesty, I think they'll be quite happy with him playing as deeply as he is at this moment in time. They'll want him to get further forward, the Parma management team, I think. There's no real danger there. He's not really imposing himself and the ability he's got. He's a player that if he plays round about the box, he can create something out of nothing.
That was Stoichkov then. Cannavaro, he's given it away. And the counter-attack could be on for Sampdoria. Chiesa, who's leading the charge. Only Mancini was upfield, though. But here's Karembeu. A player with extravagant skills, and his goal divides the 2 teams. Good tackling by Zola initially, and then a foul by Bellucci on Belly. Kick taken by Stoichkov. Tutti Chiara. Stoichkov again. Here's Apolloni. Brambilla. Foul by Franceschetti this time on Belly, who's coming in for some strong treatment in this first half. Klipper. Musi making the forward run ahead of him, hoping to open up some space. This is Brambilla. Deep cross, too deep for Zola. Certainly haven't hit top form so far this season, Parma. And so far, Pagotto in the Sampdoria goal has had relatively little to do. Just concern over free kicks, really.
Yeah, I would say that at this moment in time, for all the possession that Parma have had, they've not really got in many occasions behind Sampdoria, and it's a little bit predictable.
Mancini, that was a lovely turn then. Chiesa now, looking to threaten Parma. Still Chiesa. That looked to be a blatant dive. The Parma defenders very unhappy about the antics here of Chiesa. I thought for a moment the referee was going to book it for it, but he hasn't. Oh.
Definitely an Oscar. I think, as has been the case last season and this season, you either get your penalty there, or the player that has made the theatricals gets a yellow card, and I think that certainly warranted a yellow card.
Well, that certainly did. Mihailovic hit very late, and he has been cautioned. There's the confirmation, the yellow card for Sinisa Mihailovic. Sampdoria's Serb, although he was actually born in Croatia. Here's Zola now, looking to produce some magical skills. Whipping over the cross, it's a dangerous one too. And Pagotto did well to hold on, albeit at the second attempt.
That was a brilliant piece of play there, Zola. I mean, he's penned in the corner there, and he's got something out of nothing, really. We're really looking something from Melly, who is he's built really his reputation and his career on nicking little chances like that.
We're inside the last 5 minutes of the first half. Brambilla. Now Zola. Chiesa. Easily dispossessed though. Kripa. Now here's Di Chiara. Stoichkov. Quickly robbed though by Karembeu. The break is on for Sampdoria. Hasn't got too much support at the moment. Well, the referee is going for the foul there. I must admit I didn't see it that way.
No, I think Kripa was a bit, well, not a bit, very unlucky there. He's won the ball, he's won it cleanly. Again, the guy he's made it look good, but for me it was never a free kick.
Nothing wrong with that tackle. Here's Mihailovic. Sacchetti. Now Brambilla for Parma. Mancini. Or rather Mihailovic. This is Mancini now. Seedorf, who's had a fairly quiet first half. Stoichkov. Valeri though back in possession. Now Seedorf for Sampdoria. Very nearly an inch perfect through pass, but the flag was up anyway, so nothing could have counted there. But good vision shown by Seedorf. He played, of course, in the final of the European Cup for Ajax against Milan, although he was substituted. Chose Sampdoria because he said he wanted the right environment. Had the choice of a whole string of clubs, Seedorf. Interest from not only the big giants in Italy, but also the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid.
It's important at Parma, and I think they've just picked up lately in the last couple of movements. Don't get frustrated and start giving the ball away. I think they've got to show patience and continue to press forward. What I've seen so far, the main criticism I could make of them is that they're not getting any width. Everything is played in front of Sampdoria, and as I say, it's relatively easy for them.
Zola, who's always capable of producing something different, but not this time, and he's the first to acknowledge it. A couple of minutes of the first half to go. Away by Apolloni, a more direct approach this time. Sacchetti, though, is underneath it for Sampdoria. Brambilla. Again, the service is poor for Stoichkov, who looked at him in sheer disgust. Seedorf. Well, that's cool defending by young Cannavaro, and also from Apolloni. Now Di Chiara. Kripa. Almost into stoppage time. Karembeu thought he'd won the throw. The linesman was not in agreement with him, though. It's Parma's throw again, despite the protests of Manini. I like the look of Karembeu, though, Joe.
Yeah, he's
back to enthusiasm, isn't he?
Well, he's been in the game non-stop. He's been instrumental in most things that the Sampdoria have done. I think the main way you look at it there, he seems to be enjoying his game.
He certainly enjoyed his goal. We're into injury time.
You make a comparison between Karembeu and Stoichkov. Stoichkov at the moment, he seems a little bit frustrated. He's had a number of words, not only with the linesman and the referee, but his teammates as well. He's been closed down very quickly. He's not been given any time at all. And that's the respect you've got to give a player of that quality.
He's going to find that in Italy. He won't have too much time. Certainly not to dwell on the ball. Here's Di Chiara now. Right at the end of the first half, Stoichkov. Brambilla. Whacked away, though, by Manini. Cannavaro. This is Apolloni, the captain of Parma. One of the many internationals. Trying to find another one in Stoichkov, but Bellucci to bring it away. He's had a good first half, Bellucci. Now Karembeu. Combining with Mancini, that deft touch. Seedorf. Well, there is the half-time whistle. A roar from the home crowd to underline that they had the lead. Single goal from Karembeu, one of their new players from back in the summer. Parma haven't really fashioned too many opportunities at all so far, although they've enjoyed a fair amount of possession. Certainly Stoichkov, yes, frustrated I think is the word for him so far, and we have seen him so often in the past boil over when things aren't going his way. He of course fell out with Johan Cruyff back at Barcelona. Stoichkov saying he didn't want me there anymore because he was jealous of how popular I was. Well, this man is pretty popular at the moment in Genoa with the Sampdoria fans. Karembeu. Free kick here, then to Samp. Mihailovic to take the kick. It's a dangerous 1-2, beaten away by Bellucci. The shot driven back through, up goes the flag for offside. I think against Maniero, was lurking through the middle. Karembeu clearly is in some distress here. He'll look to run it off, but I wonder if he can there, Joe.
Well, the way things have went for the lad in particular, he won't want to come off. As we've seen in the first half, he was enjoying the game. He's involved in most things. He has the goal and he's full of it. So the last thing he'll want to do is to come and sit on that bench.
His nickname is Lally, which from his native land means fire, and he's shown plenty of that in this game. £3 million he cost Karembeu from Nantes. Here's Seedorf, the other new foreigner. Lovely piece of skill that too, as he quickly changed direction. And then Maniero had wandered offside again.
It started the second half, Peter. Parma, for the 45 minutes that remain, they have certainly got to show a wee bit more imagination. They did in the first 45. They had enough possession, but really lacked ideas, lacked any imagination to get round the back of them, to break down the Sampdoria defence, who, as Liam says, were well marshalled. But you're looking at players like Stoichkov to be able to create something. And at this moment in time, other than being too deep, even in occasions when he's been up further towards the 18-yard box, he's been disappointing.
That was a needless foul by Cannavaro, as Musi was quick to point out to his teammate. Here's Mihailovic now, curling it over. Karembeu so nearly profiting too from the free kick. Mancini in there as well. So an escape for Parma. This is Melli. Simply outnumbered though. Karembeu making another forward run. So presumably he's okay again now. Tackling there with Di Chiara. His agent says he's the highest paid Frenchman in the Italian league since Platini. Karembeu, not sure what the figures are, but he's signed a 3-year contract. Kripa, then Zola. Parma will be seeking inspiration from Zola in this second half. Melli twisting and turning, but not deceiving Sacchetti, who once or twice got caught out in the first half down this left side for Sampdoria. Kripa. The header through to Stoichkov. Up goes the flag for offside, but at least there, Joe, he's in a more advanced position, Stoichkov.
Yeah, that's what you want to see him. That's what the viewers want to see him. He's a very, very talented player, as we've seen over recent years in the World Cup, and also his performances with Barcelona. But when he plays deep in the middle of the park, it's very predictable. And Sampdoria, they'll handle that. They'll handle that all day. They've got the lead. They've got everybody behind the ball. They've got their stall set out, and they invite Parma onto him. But when you've got players like Stoichkov and Zola, you want the ball in there, round about their feet, because they can create things, even in the tightest of spaces.
Such an accomplished goal scorer, of course, Stoichkov, joint leading scorer at the World Cup last year, 6 goals, along with Oleg Zelenko of Russia. This is Mancini. Zola. Sacchetti. Just hearing that Bari have now extended their lead at home to Lazio, 3-1 now, and Totti has completed his hat-trick. 2 goals in the first half. And one reply from Aaron Winter, the Dutchman for Lazio. It's now 3-1. And that's 5 for Totti this season, so he's the top scorer in Serie A so far. Mihailovic. Di Chiara. Now Kripa, who's no longer an automatic selection for Parma, with all the new arrivals at the club and the competition for midfield places. Got his place back in the Italian team a short while back, but he wasn't in the last squad for the match with Slovenia. Here's Kripa now with Stoichkov. Again, very, very deep. As Joe was saying in the first half, Sampdoria will be happy for him to operate from that kind of area. Here he is now, Stoichkov. Kripa. Again, Stoichkov hanging back. This is Zola. Now then to Stoichkov. Zola. Again, such fine anticipation by Manini. It's his 12th season now with Sampdoria. The 33-year-old looks as solid as ever at the back. Brambilla. Zola. This is Musi. Looking to stretch Sampdoria down the flanks. That's what they've got to do. They haven't really got round the back too often.
Actually, that's about the first time that they've done that, other than Zola creating a wee bit of magic in the first half where he got a cross in that the keeper didn't quite hold. That's the only occasion that that's happened.
Brambilla. Here's Cannavaro. 22 earlier this week, Cannavaro. His first Serie A start, remember, today for Parma. On by Stoichkov. Dino Baggio. This is Musi with Zola in the middle inside him. Here's Zola. Oh, wonderful piece of skill by Zola. What a pity he couldn't finish it off. He left defenders totally mesmerised there. My word, that was a moment to savour from Gianfranco Zola.
Well, that's what you want to see, isn't it? I mean, he's sold a dummy there, and both of them have went in the wrong direction. But really, that's where he wants the ball. He wants the ball round about the box. So does Stoichkov. And hopefully Melli can go on to the end. I mean, Melli he's a natural goal scorer. He's a poacher. He wants to be in there. But they've got to get the ball up a lot quicker, and then from areas where they can get a wee bit more danger. And those areas are really down the flanks.
Zola again. Possesses fantastic skill, Gianfranco Zola. The key man in the Parma side. Off goes Kripa. Again, no way through for Parma. Away comes Seedorf. Chiesa to Seedorf again. On then by the Dutchman. To find Mancini. Mancini's chip. Then Brambilla. But he's caught out Mihailovic. Both teams showing plenty of imagination about that cutting edge so far up front. Just the one goal from Karembeu in the first half. Stoichkov. Zola endeavouring to release him. In goes Baggio. This is Melli, and the whistle's gone for a free kick for the challenge by Baggio. Hasn't been well at all this week with that problem with flu, Baggio, and he'd been doubtful right up until a few hours before the kickoff. They've got options on the bench for the likes of Brolin and young Filippo Inzaghi. Also Sensini, the Argentine. Sampdoria's substitutes include Ferri and Ivani, as well as Bellucci, their young striker who played in the opening game. And here he is now right on cue. So he's about to come on, Claudio Bellucci. Started that first game when Chiesa was out through injury, and that's the switch that's being made here too. Bellucci has come on in place of Enrico Chiesa. Some 10 minutes into the second half. Chiesa had been fairly doubtful before the kickoff anyway, not fully fit. So he'll be taking no further part in this game. Seedorf. Karembeu looked to be held back by Apolloni, and that's a tremendous save by Bellucci. Well, he's making such an impression, Christian Karembeu.
Yeah, Seedorf, it's a great ball, and the defender's got the wrong side there of Karembeu, and the keeper has had to pull off a great save. He gets forward, the lad. He's been a danger, he's a threat all the time.
Mihailovic with the corner. No, the whistle's gone. That'll be a free kick to Parma. It's an awesome strike there by Karembeu a moment or so ago. I think he's set to become a firm favourite for the fans of Sampdoria. Certainly a leading light for Nantes in their championship season in France. But now he's switched to Italy's Serie A. Franceschetti backpedaling. It's now 3-2 Bari against Lazio, and Casiraghi, the Italian international striker, has got that second goal for Lazio, so that's quite a game going on there in Bari. There's Belleri now, threatening down the right side again. Well claimed by Bucci, who seems to have nudged ahead of Bellucci at the moment in the Italian squad. Bellucci was left out for the last game. Peruzzi of Juventus, the #1.
That was a good positive run there by Belleri, and really Parma should take note of that and get their two fullbacks to get down there and be as positive as Belleri showed. But really it's only common in spasms. We've got isolated incidents when they try to do it. They're not doing it with the forceful runs that they should be.
It's a lazy sort of pass then from Stoichkov. He's such a moody player, and you never quite know what mood he's going to be in.
Well, I think he'll realise in a short time that that lazy attitude will need to be done away with, because there is no easy games in this league. He's in a very competitive competition, and you can't drop your standards at any time.
Maniero surrounded by Parma defenders, and there's Clarence Seedorf. Well, the game stepped up since half-time. The 19-year-old Seedorf. Sven-Goran Eriksson, so delighted to have captured his services with plenty of competition. Manini. Here's Seedorf. His confidence growing. Karembeu. Neat little combination between the two. And good advantage played by the referee too. Karembeu. I think we're going to see plenty of him this season. Now Baggio to bring it away for Parma. Stoichkov. Elegantly wide. To Baggio. Zola making the run ahead of him. Franceschetti, who normally plays as a sweeper, but he's got a role in a flat back four with Sampdoria for the moment anyway. Mihailovic with his right foot too. Off goes Mancini. That's solid defending though by Apolloni.
Sampdoria have surprised me a little bit in the second half. I thought they would have sat here and brought Parma further on to them, but now they're taking the game to them. They're not just waiting to try and catch them on the break. When they get the opportunity, they're pushing forward as well, looking for a second goal.
Melli. Zola's after it. But Manini comfortably there first. And Mancini losing out. Franceschetti. It's now Bari 3, Lazio 3. Signori has got that equalizer for Lazio. 2-1 down at half-time. Now it's 3-3. We've had an hour now for the match in Genoa here. Sampdoria 1, Parma 0. And this is Melli for Parma. The run by Baggio. Di Chiara underneath this one. Kripa. Then Stoichkov, and now Di Chiara. Stoichkov started his career as a sweeper. I think he seems to want to play there today at times. We've got to get him further forward, surely, Joe.
Yeah, I don't understand it. He must be playing there under instructions, because he's played virtually the whole game. It's not just a little period. And I can't see him being a threat.
Away by Cannavaro. Not very tidily. But he found Baggio. There's Franceschetti. Time here from Cannavaro, who looks to be settling in well at the back for Parma. Oh, dreadful pass by Apolloni of all people. Bellucci. Well, it's gone unpunished. Karembeu away to his left, looking rather dejected that Bellucci chose to strike at goal, but an amazing lapse of concentration by Apolloni. Seedorf, well, that's neatly done. Mancini. Some glorious attacking play then from Sampdoria, and they can't quite finish it off.
No, I see Kripa there giving Apolloni and some of the other lads a bollock in there. I mean, that's twice in what? In 30 seconds that they've got slack. I can't believe, and it's not often you see defenders in the Italian league giving passes like that outside their 18-yard box, and it could be costly. Get a second goal and the game's over.
An Italian word there from Joe Jordan that I didn't recognise. Here's Mihailovic with the corner. Joe is now wondering what he said. Rollicking, he said.
Something like that, Peter, yeah.
Use of a goal for Udinese against Cremonese. Bierhoff has scored. Udinese 1, Cremonese 0. Still 3-3 in Bari. Juventus a goal up at home to Vicenza. Vialli on 21 minutes. And of course Milan playing tonight away to Roma. That should be some game in the Olympic Stadium. Mihajlovic with the free kick. You can, of course, see highlights of Roma Milan in Mezzanotte on Channel 4 on Tuesday night. Melli, a purposeful run. Did well then, Melli. Pity for him that Baggio had pulled the other way, really. But I think Nevio Scala has stoked them up at half-time. He now wants to bring on Sensini. Also Brolin warming up, the Swedish international who has had fitness problems. There is Brolin. On goes Sensini, number 7. Brolin wearing 11. I think Brambilla has gone off. And Baggio. They're the two players replaced. So Brolin's on, Joe.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to him. He's had a bit of an indifferent period through injuries and one thing or another, but he is a talented player. We've seen him in many occasions over the years. He's still a young player. He hit the headlines at a very young age, but he's a player even in recent times has shown that he's still got the appetite for the game. He is a player that can, obviously that's one of the reasons he's been brought on, is to turn the game, and he can definitely do that.
Sensini, a versatile player, the Argentine. He's on as well then. He's actually started the first 4 games, Sensini. So it's the first one he was left out for today. Brolin has featured occasionally. No doubt he's a very talented player, a goal scorer, although he seems to play a lot deeper these days.
Well, we certainly don't need that today. we want him to get up front. You've got Sensini on there. He's a very aggressive player. And obviously that's the reason why Scala's asked him to come on, just to put a wee bit more bite into the team. They just seem to be getting laxed and getting untidy with their passing. And he naturally wants to get the game lifted to a different pace. They've got nothing to lose now, the way that things are going. They've got to really change the pattern of the game.
Bellucci for Sampdoria. Somewhat brusquely brushed aside, though, by Gripper. I've been impressed with him, though, Bellucci.
Well, I think he's got something to prove. I think he was at Parma for a number of years, and
here's Karembeu.
He never quite got the opportunity to prove over a period of games what he can do. And when you have a young lad or an ex-player that comes and plays against his old team, there's that extra space in the game, and he's certainly shown that today. He's played very, very well.
Mihajlovic, Mancini, easily brushing aside the challenge of Brolin, and he's spotted Bellucci off his line too. Such quick thinking there by Roberto Mancini. The old football brain was ticking over then.
Well, that's his trademark, to do the unexpected. Normally does it with a little bit more quality in that, as we've seen over many seasons. I think he's one of the top.
There's Melli, and the deflection took the sting off the shot. I thought for a moment it had also wrong-footed the goalkeeper there, Angelo Pagotto. You were just saying there about Mancini. He is, of course, the most prolific goal scorer in Sampdoria's history. Here he's threatening again now, but to no avail. Away comes Cannavaro. Udinese have scored a second goal at home to Cremonese. That's Poggi. Udinese 0, 2. Cremonese 0. Udinese 2, Cremonese 0. Musi. Well, they've obviously told him to get forward down the flank, Roberto Musi, but didn't make much headway then. Cracking atmosphere in the Luigi Ferrara Stadium. Sampdoria just with the edge, thanks to the goal from Karembeu, who's made a very exciting start to his Serie A career. Here's Sensini, who's been around for a few seasons now, playing, of course, for Udinese before his switch to Parma. Brolin. Now Stoichkov. Sensini ahead of him. This is Musi. Now Sensini. Stoichkov again faced by this packed Sampdoria defence. Can they break them down? Not that way. An indignant Stoichkov appeals in vain towards the referee. He was having none of it. Good climb by Mancini, but nothing to trouble Bellucci. Zola. Now Kripa to Brolin. And surely the arrival of Brolin will give Stoichkov more license to get forward. That's Melli! Off the bar! It goes Zola. Now Musi! What an escape then for Sampdoria. It was a chilling shot by Melli. Very unlucky to see it come back off the woodwork.
Well, it's a cracking piece of action there. Not only did it hit the bar, but the rebound, once it comes off the bar, and the direct shot from here, I know it's hit the chap, but it looked as if it was going straight in as well.
Here's Sensini. Such frustration for Parma. Di Chiara, quickly closed down by Belleri. I think that's out of play. Alessandro Melli then, the closest to a goal for Parma so far in this match. Back with the club after one season away.
Well, that's what his game's all about, Peter. You know, Melli, he's a player, he's a poacher. They haven't been getting the ball into the box often enough for him. He finds himself too often, actually, outside the box. He is a player that lives on pieces, and he lived on it there and nearly profited from it.
Well, he's in the box now, but it won't matter because the flag's up for offside. Thomas Brolin, who of course had to fight his way back from serious injury to reclaim his place in the Parma squad. And there's a shot again from Melli, back off the bar. He's not very sharp at times, Alessandro Melli. Doesn't he look a good defender, Cannavaro?
He stood out. He stood out with his simplicity. You know, he's played everything easy. His control has been first class. His reading of the game is good, and his distribution, as I say, has been simple. Getting the game going again.
Brolin's chip. Nevio Scala wanting more urgency from his team. They've got to show it now in this second half. Well, off again goes Karembeu. A rare mistake by him. Got carried away for a moment. That's Zola's pass. It's too long for Stoichkov. He appeals to the heavens. Mancini trying to curl it in. It wasn't far away. Well, he scored some marvellous goals down the years, Mancini. 115 in all in Serie A. And he was not too far off the target with that little curl. Maniero's going off, and Invernizzi, a solid utility player, comes on to take his place. I think they'll just try to tighten things up a bit now, Sampdoria, and look to catch Parma on the break with the guile of Mancini.
And he is showing there with his right foot what he intended to do, but with the accuracy that he has, I don't think it would have given the goalkeeper any chance if it had been on target. But that is Mancini for you, you know. He does it so often, not only one season. Every season he scores goals of real top quality. He frustrates you sometimes. He looks arrogant, not also arrogant against the officials, but also his players. But he is a player with undoubted class.
Says he intends to be more tolerant of his teammates this season.
That's very kind of him. I think.
And I'm Ruud Gullit.
Yeah, well, I think he has got to, because what he has, as I said at the beginning of the game, there's changes here at Sampdoria. They've introduced a lot of young players, and these young players are coming, and they don't want to be intimidated by someone like him. He's a captain, he's a leader, and really he's got to show a lot of understanding to these young boys. And if they've got to benefit from his experience, they've got to blossom.
Di Chiara with the run, Sensini.
And the last thing we want, Peter, is to have someone who they respect and have looked up to be giving them real criticism, when maybe an arm around the shoulder and a quiet word after the game would be more beneficial to them.
Karembeu. They're onside here. Bellucci and Karembeu. Well, how on earth did he get forward that quickly? Tremendous run by Karembeu, and there he is on the finish of that well-placed cross from Bellucci. 2 goals for Sampdoria and 2 for Karembeu. 74 minutes.
Well, the goal is certainly, it summed up Karembeu's game, really. He's full of it, he's made runs, he's been positive, he wants to win. He's played a beautiful ball out there, and his first thoughts is to get in that box. It's a great ball, he stayed onside, and who's there to finish it off? And that really shows you what he's given the whole game. Is a will to win, he doesn't want to be second, and he's thoroughly deserved both goals.
The amount of ground he covered then, Christian Karembeu. That's 3 goals for him in Serie A already this season. All credit to Bellucci for the part that he played. Such an accurate cross. And Parma's defence then was run ragged.
Sometimes you'll get a midfield player who'll just play the ball and watch it and let the move develop. But this lad here, he wants to go into the end of things as well. And that's where he's going to make his name. It's very, very hard to stop a person like that.
We were actually wondering at half-time whether he had genuine pace. He certainly showed it then.
Well, pace and also strength, physical strength and mental strength. You know, as soon as the pass is made, he wants to score the goal. He's off, but he's worked incredibly hard in the middle of the park here. He's made more forward runs than any other player.
Franceschetti. 2-0 to Sampdoria. Napoli have scored again away to Atalanta. They now lead 2-1. Agostini with the second goal. 3-1 rather it is there now.
Well, this will be a great confidence booster for a team like this that's been changed, and these young lads have come in and they're playing in front of their home fans for maybe the first or the second occasion, and you need to get them behind you, and they certainly have done that today. They've got a great rapport, and they can certainly build on that.
Berlin. Stoichkov. Here's Sensini. Tripped by Mihailovic on Kripa. Left a forlorn and rather dejected figure, Kripa. He certainly toiled away for Parma this afternoon, but they've had no reward. Kripa again. Now Sensini. Rolled through to Belli. No one on the same wavelength though, with a white shirt on. Cannavaro with the header. Straight though to Seedorf, who's shown some brilliant touches in midfield. Plenty of strength and power there too. I think Sampdoria can be well pleased with their 2 new foreign acquisitions. Karembeu and Seedorf.
But Seedorf, he's been overshadowed a little bit by his teammate, but I think you've got to remember he is only 19. I mean, it's frightening sometimes to think that what he's achieved so far in the game, and he's still only 19.
Been a frustrating afternoon for Hristo Stoichkov of Parma. And he's not going to be happy with this decision. I think he's trying to rustle up some support from the linesman. Now come on, Risto, calm it down. You can see the old eyes starting to go. Oh well, he's accepted it anyway, I think.
I think he enjoys an argument, Peter.
Oh, of course he does. I remember him saying before the Cup semi-final, the World Cup against Italy, he said, we'll win because God is Bulgarian. After they were beaten, he said, so we lost, God is still Bulgarian, but the referee is French. Invernizzi. Now Kripa. Out comes Franceschetti. Generally pretty solid at the back, Sampdoria. Even though, of course, they've lost Bjerkevod this season. Now with Juventus, although he's out for a while because of injury. Juventus at home to Vicenza, remember, and Vialli's goal may well be enough for them. It's the only one so far. Di Chiara, Sensini. Now Zola, 10 minutes left. Valeri. He can be well pleased with his display this afternoon. David Valeri. Cannavaro. Brolin. Wanting some movement ahead of him. He's been called out by Mihailovic. Out comes Bellucci to the rescue. He looks static and a bit clumsy then, Brolin.
I think Peter, the Parma have looked exactly that. They've stuttered through the game. There's been no fluency in their approach to the Sampdoria defence. It's been too slow in the build-up, a bit predictable, no width, and really they've got what they deserve, which is nothing so far.
Karembeu can't get through there. Yes, we've seen glimpses of the genius of Zola, but no more than that, really. And apart from the effort from Melli, which hit the crossbar, I can't think of too many other genuine chances that they've created.
No, they haven't. The game has always been in front of Sampdoria. They've coped with it quite easily. It's been predictable. We went through it before of the lack of width, but also their pass. I mean, they are a short passing team. There, in the example there, it's been intercepted quite easily, and now they're away and they've caught them on the break.
Sedov, Mancini ahead of him, support too from Invernizzi. Mancini wheels away in disgust at the lack of service in from Invernizzi. Now Stoichkov to sweep it on to Zola. And that's a foul by Valeri.
And what Sampdoria have been doing very well as well is when they have made the break or where they have lost possession, they've got behind the ball. They've made it very difficult. I mean, it's not been easy for Parma. They showed a lot of enthusiasm to get behind the ball. They've got a lot of hard work, and it's paid off for them. They're thoroughly deserved a 2-goal lead.
Parma certainly starting the season as one of the championship favourites, along with Juventus and Milan and maybe Lazio. They've won a trophy in each of the last 4 seasons now, Parma. They really have met their match in Sampdoria today. Those 2 clinical strikes by Karembeu. Set, I would think, without question, to be one of the stars of Serie A this season. Here he is now. Mancini, on for Bellucci. Mancini quite happy to slow it down. Off goes Valeri, trying to plough his way past Apolloni. And referee Ceccherini has given the free kick.
Well, he's continually caused them problems, Valeri, by just being positive. by being direct, trying to get to the dead ball line, and there we have it. Another free kick, and Mikhailovic is due one, Peter.
7 minutes to go. Mikhailovic will bend this one in. Franceschetti has come up from the back. There's Mikhailovic, and it's fisted away by Bellucci. Such was the pace on the shot, he could take no chances with that, and opted just to punch it out. Sedov. Manini. Here's Thomas Brolin. Little flick by Belly. Not too much though that Brolin could do with that. Doesn't really look match fit, does he, Brolin?
No, certainly it looks as if he needs the games. But overall, I think that a little bit of credit has got to go to Sampdoria. They've closed people down very quickly, not giving them any time at all on the ball, and made it hard for Parma. And they've got as close as they possibly can to the person on the ball, and everyone else is back to their teammate up.
Sensini. Touched off by Stoichkov. Now Kripa. Here's Brolin. Sensini has made his way forward. Melli now. Little chip by him. Well, I think he's looked sharp, Melli. He's certainly come closest to a goal for Parma. But generally, they've certainly lacked something this afternoon, Parma, in their efforts to win away from home against Sampdoria for the first time in Serie A. Don't think it's going to happen today. With 5 minutes left. Mancini was unhappy then with the tackle by Apolloni, who allowed his frustration to show. He's kept control well, Ceccherini. One of the top officials in the Italian game. Just wanting a word there with Apolloni about his little tussle with Mancini. He's still looking very aggrieved. Now surely Mikhailovic isn't going to try one from here. Sedov, the other Sampdoria player there with him. And here is Sedov. Mikhailovic. No flag, but easy enough for Luca Bellucci. Trying to launch an attack here for Parma, but he can't do so, thanks to the efforts of Franceschetti. Valeri, who clearly is a tough customer. And I would think an inspired signing by Sven-Goran Eriksson. Came, remember, for 2 million from Padova. Sedov, who cost a bit more than that from Ajax. Invernizzi, now Mikhailovic. Time here for Apolloni. Zola, now Stoichkov. Off goes Karembeu, though, on the counter-attack for Sampdoria. Valeri again in support outside him. Little nick through, and it's another one. Bellucci. It's 3 for Sampdoria. Claudio Bellucci, the man, remember, who struck goals against Arsenal in the Cup Winners' Cup last season. And he's pounced here for Sampdoria to put this game totally beyond Parma's reach. 88 minutes. Bellucci, the substitute.
Yeah, you got Bellucci there, a very happy man, but a man who will be as equally pleased as the chap who's made the cross. Valeri's against his old team. He's been instrumental in the third goal. A little bit of luck with the deflection, but you can't take it away from him. There he gets on the overlap, laid down, and he crosses a ball, which eventually gives us the third goal.
Well, they've allowed him too much space in there. He's hardly the tallest man on the field, is he, Bellucci? But he's nipped in between defenders, and although off balance, he still managed to squeeze his header into the corner. Ivani has come on for Sampdoria in place of Mihailovic. He won't have too long to make an impact. I don't think it's going to make any difference now, though. Sampdoria surely have the points safe and in the bag. Zola. You begin to wonder now if it's going to be the same story for Parma this season. So strong at home in their own stadium. It's like a fortress there, but when they go on their travels, they just can't seem to string the results together. Not with any consistency anyway. And they're staring defeat in the face now. Melli can't wriggle clear of Manini and Karembeu. There is Ivani, the former Milan player. Just getting a late taste of the action, no longer guaranteed a regular place in the Sampdoria team. Looks as if Seedorf has a problem, limping away somewhat gingerly. Here's Stoichkov seeking a consolation for Parma. And it would be no more than that. They've been outmanoeuvred this afternoon by Sampdoria. Stoichkov off the post with Pagotto beaten. My word, he struck that with some force then, Stoichkov.
I don't think the keeper will be too happy with the wall. I mean, from that position, you would have thought he'd have about 4 men at least, but there's 3 and there is a gap in it, and we nearly gave Stoichkov his moment of glory, because for the rest of his game he's been disappointing.
Well, throughout really they've been well organised at the back, Sampdoria, but they were a bit careless then and almost got punished by the free kick from Risto Stoichkov. Zola. It's actually been a much better second half, Joe, hasn't it?
It is, and I think that's been down to Sampdoria in the way that they've handled the second half. You know, they're 1-0 up. Sometimes you would get the idea that they would come out and just contain and hold what they had, but they haven't. They've been positive, and that's resulted in getting 2 more goals and also keeping the game open. But what they have done, once they've lost the ball, they've got behind the ball, and as we see here, it's very difficult. It's been impossible for Parma to break them down. And there they go away and try and catch him on the break again.
Another run by Belleri, who has played as well as anyone today for Sampdoria.
He hasn't stopped. Hasn't stopped. Karembeu and him, they've continually made runs from the back into the space, and they've been endless moves that have resulted in that, and always a danger.
Karembeu will take the headlines, I'm sure, but Belleri has been very impressive. Stoichkov. Now Brolin. Hasn't really managed to shine since coming on, Thomas Brolin. And it's all over. And Sampdoria have beaten Parma by 3 goals to 0